The use of snipers in warfare is a tactic that has been employed for centuries, but the conduct of German snipers during the World Wars, particularly in World War II, is a dark and controversial chapter in military history. While snipers are respected for their marksmanship and strategic value in modern armies, the actions of some German snipers during these periods were marked by cruelty, disregard for the rules of war, and a chilling indifference to human life. This article delves into the notorious acts committed by German snipers, examining their training, tactics, and the impact of their actions on the soldiers and civilians they targeted. German snipers were highly trained and skilled marksmen, often selected from among the best shooters in the infantry. Their training was rigorous, emphasizing patience, precision, and camouflage. The German military placed great importance on snipers as force multipliers, capable of demoralizing enemy troops, disrupting communications, and eliminating key personnel. During World War II, the German sniper program was significantly expanded. Snipers were equipped with high-quality rifles, such as the Karabiner 98K, fitted with a Zeiss scope, and were trained in various environments, from urban settings to the dense forests of Eastern Europe. The curriculum included stalking, fieldcraft, and the psychological aspects of sniping, ensuring that snipers could operate independently and sustain themselves behind enemy lines. German snipers employed a range of tactics to maximize their effectiveness and instill fear in their enemies. They would often occupy concealed positions for extended periods, using natural and artificial camouflage to remain undetected. These positions were carefully chosen to provide clear fields of fire and cover from which to escape if discovered. One of the most notorious tactics used by German snipers was targeting medics and wounded soldiers. This strategy was aimed at crippling the enemy's ability to care for their injured, thereby increasing the overall psychological toll of the conflict. Reports from Allied soldiers frequently mentioned the deliberate targeting of stretcher-bearers and medical personnel, actions that violated the Geneva Conventions and the accepted rules of warfare. In addition to medics, German snipers often aimed at officers and NCOs, non-commissioned officers, seeking to disrupt the command structure and sow confusion among the ranks. By eliminating key leaders, snipers could significantly reduce the effectiveness of enemy units, making them more vulnerable to attacks and less capable of coordinated defense. The psychological impact of German snipers on Allied troops was profound. The fear of being targeted by an unseen enemy created an atmosphere of constant tension and paranoia. Soldiers had to be vigilant at all times, knowing that any exposure could make them a target. This psychological pressure often led to mistakes and a breakdown in morale, further enhancing the effectiveness of the sniper's role. However, the actions of some German snipers went beyond the strategic and entered the realm of atrocity. Numerous accounts from the Eastern Front describe German snipers engaging in acts of gratuitous cruelty. For instance, there were reports of snipers deliberately wounding soldiers in non-lethal but extremely painful ways, such as shooting them in the stomach or groin, to draw out their suffering and to bait others into rescue attempts, who would then be shot as well. The conduct of German snipers also extended to civilian populations, particularly in occupied territories. In cities like Stalingrad and Leningrad, snipers were used to enforce strict control over the civilian populace, often targeting anyone who violated curfews or engaged in activities deemed suspicious by the occupying forces. These actions contributed to the terror and hardship faced by civilians living under occupation. In some cases, German snipers participated in punitive actions against partisans and resistance fighters. Villages suspected of harboring resistance members were subjected to brutal reprisals, with snipers playing a key role in these operations. The deliberate targeting of civilians, including women and children, added to the long list of war crimes committed by German forces during the conflict. The legacy of German snipers in World War II is complex. On one hand, they were highly skilled soldiers who played a critical role in the Wehrmacht strategy. On the other hand, the tactics they employed and the atrocities they committed cast a long shadow over their actions. The deliberate targeting of medics and civilians, in particular, stands as a stark reminder of the inhumanity that can arise in the chaos of war. The psychological impact of their actions left lasting scars on the soldiers who faced them. The fear and anxiety generated by the presence of snipers led to changes in tactics and procedures among Allied forces, including increased emphasis on counter-sniper operations and the development of protective measures for medical personnel.